Sending a notification to the next person or people involved in the process is an important step. These notifications, defined on the pathways between stages, will be triggered when an instance transitions between them. The workflow path that we want to work with needs to be selected. The path is highlighted in yellow, and its properties will be visible in the Properties panel on the right. In the Behaviours section, click on the Edit button. That opens up the Behaviour toolbox and the canvas for the selected path. Any behaviour added to this canvas will be triggered when an instance follows the pathway. While we can use the standard behaviour commands, the most important one from the workflow perspective is the Notify command. Click the Edit button under the Notify Settings table, and the Edit Notifications dialog box will open. Click the Add button to add a notification to the table. The table will display a summary of the notification settings. However, those settings are defined in the lower half of the dialog box, where you will see 6 different sections. In the General tab, there are 3 options. The title should reflect the purpose of the notification. An attention level is recommended for notifications that need the user to react to the app, as will be the case in this example. However, note that the attention level will only be visible to licensed users who access the Perfect Apps dashboard system to see what is outstanding for them. For users receiving a notification by email, this setting is not relevant. Role selection is significant. This will do a couple of things. First, it will associate the role with this notification, and that will be important later when we get to set the access rules. Secondly, it will ensure that the notification goes to the correct person based on the links we have already made between the role and the default person in earlier tutorials. The default setting in the Person tab is to send the notification to the person assigned to the role. This will ensure that it goes to the right person. You wouldn't usually want to override this default setting. In the Time tab, you can specify when the notification is sent. Once again, you usually wouldn't want to change the default setting for the initial notification. We will look at reminders in a different tutorial, and that's when we would change settings here. Also, nothing's changed in the Cancellation tab either, but be aware that we are only talking about cancelling the notification, which means removing it from the Perfect Apps dashboard. The Message tab is where most of the work happens. First of all, note that the option to send by email is checked by default. The subject is what the users will see in their inbox, so a brief description can be used here. In the body of the message, we can combine text and data from fields in the individual app instances, such as the applicant's name. We can do this by using the Insert Field button at the bottom. The app instance number is system generated, unique, incremental and user-friendly, which means 1, 2, 3 and so on. You can use this as a handy reference number if you want. The most important button is Insert Link. Use this to include a link that will allow the email recipient to reopen the app instance. Remember that if a user doesn't have a license, then this link is the only way that they will be able to reopen the request. The link will display as a hyperlink in the notification email, not always a tidy link. To change that, move the mouse cursor inside the link and replace the word link with an alternative displayed in the notification. In this tutorial, we have covered the basics of defining notifications in your workflow logic. The notification we have described is a plain text one. If you want to use basic HTML code for formatting your message, you can do that in the HTML tag. In other tutorial videos, we will also look at reminders and escalations.